Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the quick update over at the situation of the Battle of Bakhmut. So at Bakhmut city, the fighting continued to rage heavily, particularly in the center of Bakhmut, at the north of Bakhmut and in the south of Bakhmut, as well as southwest. So these are the major vectors of attack by the Russian forces. And interesting thing first is that the Ukrainian defense ministry report that the Russian side had switched their tactics. Now they are switching to the so-called Syrian scorched earth tactics, where they literally just destroy entire buildings and positions with airstrike and artillery fire. And this is actually probably in to corroborates the use of the gliding bombs, the heavy gliding bombs, including Fab 500, Fab 1500, massive bombs that actually are 10, 20, 30 times, 25 times, or even 100 times heavier than standard artillery shelling. So on top of that, the TOS-1A has been used very heavily. The flamethrower MLRS has been used very heavily on the Ukrainian position. So as long as there is Ukrainian positions perhaps was firing from this area, or they are holding up in this area here, they just drop one massive bomb and or the TOS-1A, and they just wipe out the entire region here of Ukrainian forces. So this is something that the Ukrainians have noticed the Russians have changed, and I think there is less of the change in terms of tactics, but it's more of the introduction of a new type of weapon that is now seeing high effectiveness, and this is a big concern for the Ukrainian forces. Other than that, we do have to start off with some information of the biggest fighting is actually around the area of the Bakhmut train station. So according to information from Raiba, this fighting is actually going towards the Bakhmut train station, and then according to the pro-Russian source Remy Lind, they say that the focus is now clearly on the breaking through of the main train station in the center, and he said that this is the fiercest fighting of the whole city area at the moment, and currently the train station is a gray zone. According on this happening on the 9th, and an interesting information from Remy Lin 21, which is a pro-Russian source, is say that there is Russian special units fighting alongside with Wagner, and they are fighting against the Ukrainian elite forces. And these special forces from the Russian military is reportedly from his other post. It's actually the VDV. So the Russian airborne forces is actually fighting alongside the Wagner, which I already reported before that the VDV was previously, they are actually guarding the flank as the Wagner forces concentrate entirely on the city itself. So it seems like the fighting has reached a point where the VDVs are now being deployed into Bakhmut itself to help out with the fighting, which also could explain the lack of actions in the area of Ivanivske, towards Chasivya, or at Bohdanivka or further up. The action is primarily around Bakhmut city itself, and the only fighting that is outside of Bakhmut city, there is a limited fighting at Ivanivske, and quite a bit of fighting at Bohdanivka along the road here and at Khromove. There is also some changes in the front line from the past 3 days. As you can see that this area here is now possibly under the Russian control. So because in the latest information, according to Remilin 21, which is the pro-Russian source, they say that the Ukrainian forces have been completely driven out of the main station. However, this Ukrainian withdrawal might actually be temporary, as they say that there might be a possibility of counterattack, and so otherwise, to the north of the city, the Russian forces have already arrived at this railway line. they have successfully arrived at the railway line in the north of the train station. And fighting is also along the area just past the Atlantic Hotel, which is actually here. The Russian forces is actually pushing in this area here, and the Ukrainian salient here is now getting smaller and smaller. So moving into this area, I can pull up the previous mapping. You can see that the Ukrainian forces previously was at this line, and they have now got smaller as they are unable to hold these lines. But the salient is closing very slowly, which actually suggests that the Ukrainians are putting up a major fight. That means what we've seen previously, where the Ukrainians have been redrawing quickly, is now stopped. Probably the Ukrainians are sending more reinforcement to hold the line and to prevent the Russians from taking the lines any faster. So however, this information, this area where the Ukrainians have the line is not corroborated by the Russian side. The Russians insisted that the lines is around here, and then they have captured the entire of the Avangard Stadium. So information, as you can see, they have, according to Raiba, the pro-Russian source, they said that the Wagner forces have completely liberated the Avangard Stadium, and they are now fighting near some school and at Kovalskaya Street and the Blahoveshchenkaya Street, which is actually Blahoveshchenkaya Street is actually this street here, and Kovalskaya Street is actually this street here. So they are fighting around this area here. However, there is information of a Ukrainian counteroffensive from the north of Avangard Stadium, reported by Surya Maps and by the pro-Russian source Remy Lin, and the Russian forces actually have to do some withdrawal. So previously the lines was actually a bit more advanced. It was around here. The Russian forces have to fall back due to the Ukrainian counteroffensive that was happening around this region over here. And there is fighting along the Blahoveshchenka Street 2 days earlier on the 8th, and this fighting front line was actually kind of established because the deep state UA, the pro-Ukrainian sources, actually geolocated Russian forces based on a video that the Russian forces is actually here. Wrong color, here. So because they are here, and which means the Ukrainian lines unlikely to be actually here, is unlikely to be here. Even though the deep state UA map it in this way, they are trying to minimize the level of recline of their front line. If we follow the Russian lines, then that kind of makes more sense that the Russian forces was actually attacked in this area with drone or artillery. I can't remember which is the thing that was hitting the Russian troops in this area here. And in the southwest, similar situation. On the 8th, the Russian forces actually captured most of this area around the MiG-17 monument, with the Russian forces pushing in this area here. However, on the 9th, the Ukrainian forces also counterattack in this area here, where the Ukrainian forces managed to push back the Russian forces, and the lines are now in like this as the Ukrainian forces managed to recapture this entire buildings around this cross this V junction or Y junction between these two main roads in the southwest of Bakhmut city. And in the north or northwest, the Russian forces have made some progress as they captured most of the Rose Alley region, which is actually around this area here. They have managed to push and capture most of this area here. In terms of our mapping, the front line didn't really change much. It doesn't look like much because I haven't really seen sources putting out maps that are clear enough for me to indicate this. And fighting is ongoing at Khromove from the 9th and on the 10th. This is information reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry as the Russians restarted their attempt to probably go towards this area to capture Khromove. And otherwise, this is the update from the Bakhmut, the Battle of Bakhmut, and I'll see you. Please press the like button, subscribe if you are new to this channel, and I'll see you in the next update.